Hey guys, here today with another shear grab knife video. Today we have in front of us the Sinkevich Touch Stellar. Now this is the show exclusive for the 2023 year, and just like in previous years for the CCKS Fall show, we've historically had one of Sergey's models modified by Dmitry Sinkevich with his pivot hardware and unique milling, alongside with this nice set here that you see with this card, leather pouch, and usually a tool. So let's go ahead and talk about this card first, and this has the specs of the knife. You can see here CCKS Fall 2023 show exclusive, Sinkevich Touch Stellar with M390 for the blade steel and MRBS for the bearing system. We have the Shurgrove Knives collaboration with Sinkevich Design for the Ambi Tool. Comes with a Kova Design leather pouch, and this is knife 40 out of 50. So just like in past years, this was done in a run of 50 as well. Now, taking a look at the tool this year, we have the new Ambi Tool here. You can see we have milling that matches the milling on the handles of the knife. This milling, coincidentally, we've also seen, I believe, on the later F95 that Dmitry did his unique milling on for a show exclusive. So it's nice to see the return of that milling. Really nice and definitely unique, something you definitely would not see on a Shurgrove knife. Now the Ambi Tool is more for detail-oriented work as opposed to the Cyber Tool, which pivots to allow more leverage. As you can see here, we have these small and large tri-lobe bits that are needed to service the knife. Taking a look here, you can see the small bit. Now these bits are also shorter in height compared to the just normal Shurgrove bits or even the Sinkevich bits that were in the Cyber Tool. What this means is really only this bit will fit inside this tool. But given the fact that it does say a Sinkevich design, you probably do want to keep these bits. But just something of note for people who want to throw in the normal Shurgrove bits in this tool for, again, that more detail-oriented work. You'll be able to put the bits inside and use the tool, but I do not believe you'll be able to screw the cap back on with those longer normal Shurgrove tools. Now, if I could get this cap back on here, I can show you the other side. There we go. And take a look here at the other side. You can see the large pivot bit here. And the tool does have a very nice frictionless spinning motion here, again with two arrows as opposed to the Cyber Tool, which has arrows in opposing directions. Very interesting design here. And again, you're not getting too much torque, but for detail-oriented tasks, I actually prefer this, especially the fact that you can have two bits on either end. You're not really swapping the bits in and out all the time. These knives actually don't come with Loctite, something that is different than the normal Shurgrove production knives. The friction that holds the bits in, or the screws in my opinion, have been sufficient enough, flipping the knife many times. But that is something to note, that these screws do not come Loctite on the knife. Now, of course, if you guys are interested in kind of the general dimensions of the Stellar and just how it handles, I definitely recommend you take a look at my Stellar first production video, which I will link in the description. I don't have a video on the normal production runs, but the first production really only differs in the blade steel, this being M390, the first productions being S90V. The normal productions will also be M390 just like this, and of course the lack of Sinkevich hardware and the unique Sinkevich Touch milling as well. But going on, let's just do a quick measurement of the size of the knife, just in case you guys don't want to watch the video on the Stellar first production. The blade has not changed at all. From what I can tell, the blade profile, the cutting length, you can see here we're looking at 3 1/4 for the cutting length, and with the knife open, looking at just a hair over 8 1/4. And with the knife closed, we are looking at, let's see, just a hair under 4 3/4. Now, taking a look at the weight of the knife, I do remember that the first production Stellar was looking at around 4.31 ounces. Very curious to see how this one does 4.23. So actually a noticeable weight reduction. Not sure if that's due to the contouring on the handles. I believe the contouring on the inside is exactly the same. So very interesting to see that there in terms of the weight difference between that and the first production. Now lastly, before I move on to the knife, let's take a look at the pouch here. Again, standard affair. I do believe that the pouch shape had changed slightly, but don't quote me on that. Again, you can see that just like other pouches in the past, you can hold both the tool and the knife in one pocket here. I don't personally use the pouches that much, so I'm not going to insert it in right now. But for people who do like pouch carry, you can see that both the knife and the Ambi tool fit in quite well. So now moving on to the knife itself. Again, no difference in the blade profile. We still have 3.5 millimeter blade stock M390, which we should expect on the normal production Stellars. So again, no changes there, but we do have significant changes on the handle. As you can see here, the pivot hardware and also the body screws are done in steel. With this very nice generous chamfer and stylized tri-lobe Sinkevich bit interface that we've seen on just Dmitry's knives in general. Taking a look at the handle itself, full titanium, just like the other production Stellars. The contouring on the top and the handle spine right here hasn't changed too much. However, we do have a very generous curve here, which is distinctly different from the normal production Stellar. Personally, I actually do prefer this kind of milling. I think it matches with the curves here up top, but I do know some people do prefer the normal Shirogorov Stellar milling for the production knives. Now, taking a look inside, you can see that similar milling pattern that we saw on the Ambi Tool. And again, this is a milling pattern that we have seen in the past on other Sinkevich Touch show exclusive knives. Taking a look at the back here, again, just like the front pivot screw, we do have stainless steel hardware. Really nice, actually. This will not mar as much or as easily as some of the anodized titanium hardware that we've seen on other Sinkevich Touch knives. In general, the bit fitment on the Sinkevich bits to the pivot aren't as tight as what you'd see on the Shirogorov kind of Pac-Man style screws. So having these be done in steel, I think are very beneficial, just so you're not going around and scratching off any anodization. The steel is obviously much harder than an anodized titanium screw. Now, taking a look at the other side here, you can see that we do have some accents here, both on the clip and the back spacer. This is the workshop's new kind of high polished titanium finish, something very similar to what we've seen on the F3 Arum, one of the limited elemental F3s. So it's nice to see that they're continuing this kind of on their more limited knives, and it goes very well with the steel hardware as well as they have this kind of natural polished look to them as well. Honestly, I really like this color scheme. The bronze or kind of gold anodization is a little bit brighter than what we've seen in the past from the workshop, and I personally am a fan. I really like it. I love the unique contouring here. I think that was a really nice touch compared to the normal production Stellar, and it wasn't just adding this kind of milling pattern to the exact same contouring on the handles. Now, one last thing that I want to talk about, if you take a look on the inside, you can actually see two things. You can see that the inside screws are also Sinkevich tri-lobe screws. That was one thing that I definitely wasn't expecting. I would expect that it would be the same as the normal Shirogorov Pac-Man screws on the normal Stellar, but the workshop really went all out to ensure that all of the hardware is that tri-lobe. And I guess that really does make sense. This tool should be able to disassemble the knife in its entirety, and that should include both the inset liner and the clip as well. Now, the last thing here is that we have the liner, and if you can take a look, kind of hard to see here, but I will post a photo in the description that shows that the liner now has a notch that allows you to space the liner correctly using the backspacer pin. So You basically wedge the backspacer pin in between the handles and the liner, and that spaces the liner correctly, the up-down orientation, which allows optimal interaction between the detent ball on the liner and also the detent hole in the blade. Now, why is this important? Some of the other inset lock designs that we've had, such as the Mini Quantum and some of the older Stellars, including the first production Stellar, I believe the normal production Stellars will also have this spaced off liner design, but also the Mini Quantum, the custom Stellars as well. You pretty much kind of had to guess getting that optimal detent placement. If you are too high and the liner is cocked at this angle upwards too high, you can get a weak detent. If it's down too low, you can get kind of this detent rock or blade play in the closed position. So getting that true center position on the liner is very important. And I actually talked with Sergey at Blade Show about this. My frustration having to basically trial and error reassembling Stellars when trying to, improve the detent or something like that. He actually shared my sentiment, and it was really cool to hear from him that he had a fix in the works, and we kind of talked about a couple of different solutions. This was Blade Show 2023 earlier this year in June, and now we're finally seeing that. Really cool that it's using a existing part of the knife. You kind of just put it here and space it off correctly, torque down the screws, and then put it back when you're assembling the knife with the backspacer, obviously. So really cool design, and should really help people when assembling these knives. I honestly think there should be some little instructional sheet. Perhaps maybe I'll do one on the channel to kind of walk people through the process. There honestly isn't much of a need to remove the liner unless you do experience kind of a weak detent from the factory. It might be in your best interest to kind of reseat that liner. But otherwise, you don't really want to be touching that, and there is no need to be doing that, especially if you're just field stripping the knife and cleaning it. But anyways, it's nice to see that this knife is coming with it, and also the subsequent production Stellars that we should be seeing in a couple of weeks for the US market. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this knife. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.